So the S&P 500 have climbed for the past 2 straight days ahead of the FOMC meeting tomorrow. In today's video, I'm going to be sharing with y'all a sector slash stock that is about to make a huge move, I think. And why y'all should keep it in your watch list. We're also going to be looking at some of the questions that you guys asked in the comment section. So let's dive right into it right off the bat. We got the Nasdaq, and on Sunday night we had bad news, but that bad news didn't really pull the market down. It kind of chopped throughout half of Monday and then started to push higher and climbed above 25,800 for the Nasdaq. It got above this level right here, and then this morning we gapped up again and then chopped again, right? So the bearish thesis for the market is no more, for now at least. For now, okay. Since that day right here, that was the time to kind of switch your perspective. But now that I look at the Nasdaq, I see something. There's something that interests me here. We gotta look at, how am I gonna draw this thing? I'm gonna draw it like this for now. So there's this, and then the breakout was today. This is tomorrow's candle, the 28th, right? So with this, as long as it stays bullish and as long as you see volume, we should see a test of 26,500. How fast are we gonna get up there? I mean, it's only 300 points. And then the all-time highs is right out here on the left. That one we're about to break. There's some short sellers who are not looking forward to this thing breaking new highs. And if we do, they're going to sell and we're gonna push higher for the Nasdaq. The other way to look at it is with QQQ. And with QQQ, this is what I had drawn on there. Because some of, like with the futures, some of the prices kind of peak up here. But with QQQ, we kind of got a straight line of resistance. And then we have a push. The volume, slight increase from yesterday. It's not that significant, which, I mean, it's a little sus. But again, the market is still climbing in the upward direction. Right, this is a bullish rectangle with a break. And right now we're up by like $3.50 up here. All-time highs for QQQ is right at 637. I expect that to get tested tomorrow, especially if something specific occurs. All right. Now, the sector slash stock that I want you to be keeping in your watch list, that's the something specific that I'm talking about. We're going to go over to the semiconductors, and we're going to start off with TXN and Texas Instrument. Now, this one had earnings, and there was two gaps to fill, one at the bottom and one at the top. And the stock decided to fill the gap at the top. So right now, if we go on the 5-minute, we can see that the company had great earnings, this company jumped after strong outlook from their earnings report. The market liked what they put out, and we're currently up to 213. So for tomorrow, this is the type of price action that I'm looking forward to. So first and foremost, it depends on where we open. If you're open here at 213, expect the drop to fully fill the gap before we rebound. All right. Or if we open down here at 209, then expect just a little bit of a dip to 207 before we rebound. Either way, this gap right here is like first priority that has to get filled. So I do expect it to get fully filled intraday tomorrow before we try to go for the new highs. Because the previous all-time highs is right at 222-ish. All right. So we got room right here. The volume is going to surge. We're going to see probably something around 30 million in shares traded, similar to this earnings day. We're gonna see that. Also, something else that y'all should be keeping in mind, all right, is ASML. This stock right here has earnings in the morning. Because TXN did so well, I don't have too much expectations with this one. I definitely think that 1500 is going to get breached, but I don't think it's going to go too crazy. I think they're going to do just enough to push the semis just a little bit higher into the open. And then a lot of the volume and a lot of the movements are going to happen after the market opens. I don't think this thing is gonna shoot up and go over to 1600 overnight. I don't think so. This, I think, is almost a 2 trillion. No, AVGO is almost a $2 trillion company. This one, I haven't looked to see what the market cap is. Let me check. SML market cap. So it's $556 billion. All right, so yeah, it can climb up another 5%, somewhere around here, like 1550. Yeah, it can do so. But watch for that kind of movement. Now, the one stock that I'm really looking forward to, again, we're using these TXN and this one as just to make the conditions more favorable than they already are. Nvidia. Nvidia is really the one that I'm interested in. This one right here. And I'm interested in it because of the 1 hour. Yeah, I would say because of the 1 hour. I think it's gonna pop up a little bit. I left my alert on here. Y'all know what I'm thinking. All right, my alert is on here. There is a structure on the charts. They had a pretty horrible close, but because of the positive reaction from the earnings report of these two other companies that I just mentioned earlier, I think there's gonna be money flowing in here. All right, so for tomorrow, I want y'all to set your alert right at 190, like I'm doing. All right, and patiently wait for it to ring, because the moment it rings, there's going to be a massive influx of money, and this one is going to go from 190 and push to around 194, maybe even 195, which is the previous level of, let me go back here. All right, yeah, which is the previous level of resistance from this day right here, 194. All right, so watch it for that bullish move right here. And also, if you're not already aware, something really good happened yesterday. If you look at the option chain of the Mag 7, you will see that more dates have been added because the SEC has approved Wednesday and Friday expiration dates on Mag 7, like your Nvidia, Microsoft's, Google, Apple, AVGO, also IBIX or IBIT, and then Amazon, right? So these companies, there's gonna be a lot more money to be made earlier in the week, especially on Mondays, right? Because that way you'll be. But for those of y'all who, if you're used to trading 0 DTEs on the indices, I'm sure this is just a regular day. But for anybody else who likes to trade equities more than like your SPY and your QQQs, this is really, really good, right? That means that intraday, there will be a lot more money to be made intraday on Mondays and on Tuesdays, right? So yeah, just to inform you, in case you were not aware, that was made available this week right here, right? So we have the 2nd, and then we have the 4th, and then we have the 6th. So more dates have been added. Now let's check out UNH, since this is the stock for the day. It had a massive plunge. They had earnings this morning, but an announcement was made about the healthcare rate, the new healthcare coverage rate increase, something like that. And the market didn't like what they put out, and it dropped all the way down to 282. I thought it was gonna go a little bit lower to 280, which is the gap right here that has to get filled right there, right? So for tomorrow, this one might get left out. When a company does this, when a company drops by like 10% or more from earnings, the aftermath is usually horrible, as y'all seen before. Like this happened before, and then for 3 straight months we went down, right? This time around, I think this was done just to take care of the gap on the left. I think it's going to stay down here for about 2 weeks before it tries to make its way back up again. All right, I don't think we're gonna dive all the way down to 200. Like, I don't believe that. The stock is already so beaten down and so low that I see this as like another chance for anybody who didn't get it to, or anybody who actually got it at the bottom and then sold between 350 and 370, like this is like another chance to add the stock again to your long-term portfolio at like 270, maybe even 260 before this thing rebounds again, because it's gonna rebound. It might take some time, right? But long term, the stock is going to rebound. If you check out the monthly, for example, it's at a great spot. Like anywhere from here, 270 to 233, this is the buy zone. This is a great place to add the stock to your long-term portfolio, right? Because eventually, it's a healthcare company, the biggest healthcare company in the market, is going to rebound eventually. Might take months, might take years, but ultimately, this right here, that's the goal. All right. So, that's my very honest thoughts on the stock. One more stock. So somebody in the comment section have been asking me about Meta. So let's talk about it. Meta is stock with, out of the Mag 7, this one has the lowest volume, right? But during the last 5 business days, it made a turnaround from the lows of 600 and it pushed all the way up to 670. It has earnings. I think the move is in, meaning I don't think it's going to do too much from earnings with Meta. I think it's going to stay exactly where it is. I don't think that it's going to shoot up to 750. I don't believe that. I think that's going to get saved for later. All right. But there is this to worry about. This right here. Okay. So there's 2 gaps, one at the top, one at the bottom. I think it's going to stay flat while the market pushes, and then it might get rejected at 700 and make another fall. But 700 is the highest I see this thing going in the near future. All right. Like looking at it big picture on the daily, it looks like a double bottom. It definitely does. Okay. But there's some things to worry about, like this right here, the gap at 620, and also the gap at 550. But that's way down the line, like when the market really turns over and rolls over and falls. But for now, the perspective is bullish. When the market is ready to tumble, then we can discuss these lower targets. So that's my honest thoughts on all of these stocks, and that is the end of the video. As always, don't forget, I am not your financial advisor. All of these are my opinions, and sometimes I am wrong. Like Sunday, for example. Like I really thought that line right at 7,000 would hold and would reject for the SPY, but it broke through. And now we're seeing some positive movements. Some stocks are pushing higher, right? So sometimes I am wrong. Again, I'm not your financial advisor. Don't forget to follow me on social media, and also don't forget to like and follow for more.